Hey all, and welcome to Sports Wire. This is VJ, your host for the Sports Wire channel. Another day, another set of Chelsea news. Chelsea never fails to disappoint us in terms of the transfer news and the issues surrounding the club. One such issue today as well. In Kounde deal might be pulled off from Chelsea. Like when I say pulled off, we might not be very much interested anymore in signing Jules Kounde, and that does make a lot of sense if you ask me. Why don't we want Kounde? Because of the way that Sevilla has tried and negotiated with us over the past 1.5 years. It's not just now; it's new, right? It's not the first time that Sevilla are doing this the way that they're doing right now. They've not been working in tandem with Sevilla, with Chelsea board, and there's been a lot of backroom negotiations, as I understand from it. Though we are not privy to those sort of information, it seems that way, right? I'm just going to give you a situation from a financial standpoint, right? Look at it. Right, £55 is what we've offered Jules Kounde deal to Sevilla, and that's something that is very open in the market right now. And then we saying that, you know what, this is what we'll be paying as wages as well for Jules Kounde, which is also significantly higher than that of what Barcelona are offering Jules Kounde. First of all, they've not even submitted the bid. Yeah, even if they submit that bid, the next thing is they submitted the bid, but then that bid seems to be like 10 million short of what we have submitted. Close to 20 million would be the difference. If you include the Bordeaux deal also into it. Now tell me one thing: why would Sevilla want to accept a deal which is 20 million lesser than that of the Premier League bid? Unless and of course there is some sort of a backroom deal that is going on. The money that might not come in legally. Let's say that again, it's all speculation, guys. At this point in time, even I don't have the full source for it, but you know when you think about that, you know why is Barcelona able to make these sort of deals and there is no one in terms of the regulation authority to question those? Yeah, is that the problem with La Liga's regulation, or is that the problem with UEFA regulation, or is it Barcelona are doing everything correctly and the media is reporting it completely different? Or don't we understand the financial side of things as much as properly they should be reported? There's so many questions that are left unanswered at this point in time, guys. Let's try and explore those, but then our job is not to probably try and understand where Barcelona at this point in time stand financially. We're not Barcelona supporters, right? We are Chelsea supporters. For us, this is what is more important. We have to try and understand what would Chelsea do from here. Yeah, where are they going to go? Are they going to go find a couple of signings from somewhere else? Maybe we go find Gvardiol from AC Milan, or who else do we have in the market at this point in time? Yeah, Gvardiol obviously is a very good shout. He might be someone who we will be looking at, but yeah, these things are a bit frustrating at this point in time because we don't have backup at all. Daniel, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Daniel says Chelsea are interested in Harry Kane. Says the CFC bind. CF bind. See again. Is there any substance to it, or the English media has, as usual, got it wrong? I'm not so sure about it, because we were trusting the sources of Fabrizio Romano, Jacob Steinberg, Adam Newson, Simon Phillips, all of these guys reporting that Jules Kounde's deal is almost done, was imminent. We're going to be getting the green light in the next 24 hours. It's just a matter of hours. We're going to be getting the deals done with respect to Jules Kounde. Did any of that become true? No. Yeah. Gerard Romero, in his Twitch channel, basically said Barcelona are interested in Jules Kounde and they'll be going for it. That's what happened towards the end, right? That is exactly what happened towards the end. Jules Kounde is probably going to be a Barcelona player in the next couple of hours, or maybe in the next day or two. So I don't understand the sports journalist's authenticity of information. I don't get it. Like, if you don't have information, better not come out and say anything, any information at all. Yeah. do not give us information that could possibly be false. Yeah, that's where I always tell you, right? There's a difference between you telling us an information, like passing along an information, and you opinionating it. Yeah, what you guys did was basically opinionating on it. You guys did not inform us on anything. You were opinionating that you thought maybe Jules Kounde's deal was going to get over, which was not the case. Yeah, you thought that Jules Kounde's deal is done, so you reported it as imminent. But was it done? No. Now, the way that you can obviously access the information is through media. Guys, I hope. Okay, there's some. There seems to be a loose contact in terms of my audio. I'll try my best to provide quality content for today, but tomorrow I'm going to replace my wires and get this sorted, guys. You can be sure of that. But yeah, today I'm a bit struggling with these wires. It's very difficult to get this sorted right now. But yeah, coming back. So these journalists are failing to get stuffs right. Yeah, now there has been reports saying that Presnel Kimpembe is another option that we are looking at. But Presnel Kimpembe could possibly cost around 65 to 70 million. And that's the demand that PSG is going to have or put on Chelsea. Again, questions. Why would Kimpembe cost so much? Next question. What level of authenticity do you have saying that Presnel Kimpembe is going to cost 65 to 70 million? Because you come out in the market, you come out in the media, and you say 65 to 70 million. Since these deals do not have substance to it, and your value is the value that is taken on by, you know, every one of the fans, people assume 65 to 70 million is what it's going to cost for getting this Presnel Kimpembe's deal sorted, but which might not necessarily be true. Maybe the negotiations are in the range of 60 or 50, 40 million even. Yeah, but then when you come out and say that, a lot of people are getting attracted towards the information, which is fair enough. You've managed to get that sort of a fan following for yourself, and you're able to provide them with information, but do not opinionate. Try to give substance information. Yeah. Anyways, again, I understand from the media perspective, from the journalist perspective as well, these informations that are coming out sometimes might be very difficult to predict, but do not predict, guys. That's my problem. Do not predict. Yeah, if you feel this is what is going to happen, that's when you report it. Do not speculate. You need to have proper substance towards what you're doing. That's Otherwise the information that you provide might not turn out to be authentic. That's my concern. A lot of media, yeah, I understand your problems as well when it comes to the media, folks. Situations might keep changing. It might not be necessarily what you reported. The situation in itself could have naturally changed. Yeah, those scenarios I understand, but the way that it was done with respect to the Jules Kounde situation, I find it very hard to follow mainstream media journalists anymore, because they get a lot of information wrong, just wrong. Yeah. Anyways, reading the comment section, Pradeep as well has joined in. Thank you, Pradeep, for tuning in. Daniel Crane as well. Daniel says Kunde was never seen as a Tuchel's priority target, more of a club target as revealed, but he did approve the move. He was still keen on signing Kunde after losing out on Delict. Yeah, initially, I think Thomas Tuchel did have an issue with his height, but the logic that I don't understand is that you have people like Thiago Silva and Aspilicueta, who's of the same height as that of Jules Kounde, and are performing exceptionally for you, because you've come out several times in the media to say that Thiago Silva and Aspilicueta are one of the most integral part of this squad, and they've been performing exceptionally well, but which is fair enough. Yeah, fair that they're doing it properly. And why not Jules Kounde then? What's the problem that you have with someone like Jules Kounde, who's again on the same height, but then at this point in time alone, you have an issue with the height? I don't understand the logic behind it. I think this is a place where we might have to. Tuchel might have to take that loss. We were not as strong as we should have been when it comes to the Jules Kounde situation, is how I would put it. Not that all the problems are with Chelsea board and Thomas Tuchel at this point in time. But this is something I think partially the Chelsea board and Thomas Tuchel should also be taking responsibility for. Pradeep also says De Jong to Chelsea thoughts. We'll get to that. Yeah, De Jong to Chelsea. We're hearing random stuffs in the transfer market right now with respect to Chelsea's interest in players. I heard about this, Harry Kane interest as well from Chelsea. Not sure how much of all of these are true, right? And again, that's where my problem stimulates as well, or stems from as well. I cannot trust the sports journalists anymore with the kind of information that they're bringing about. Daniel says, because of the whole Kounde saga, Chelsea will block moves for Aspilicueta and Alonso, but could also stop in, but also could, De Jong deal could also be blocked because of that. Yeah, it's again, what do you call to be a deadlock, right? We've got something called deadlock in terms of operating system. If you guys are IT people, then you might be knowing this. In an operating system, usually there's something called a deadlock where basically if the first step is done, that's when the second step gets cleared, and then that based on the second step there is a fourth step, and if the fourth step gets done, that's when the first step gets done. So basically you are in a vicious cycle which might never end. And that's the scenario when it comes to a deadlock. And that's exactly what is happening with this, Aspilicueta, Alonso deal and situations as well. If you're not willing to sell Alonso and Aspilicueta, fair enough, then they won't sell De Jong to you, because there are interests for De Jong from other clubs as well, which you cannot say for Aspilicueta and Alonso. You have to sell, like Chelsea at this point in time, have to sell Alonso and Aspilicueta only to Barcelona, because there are no other clubs who are registering interest for these guys. Yeah, which becomes even more difficult from a negotiation standpoint for Chelsea to deal with. But in case of De Jong, obviously we are not the first suitors as well. Even if we become the first suitors, and De Jong wants to come play for Chelsea, Barcelona can still block the move, because Barcelona know for a matter of fact that there is Manchester United always on the lookout for De Jong, and they will probably come in and swoop in the deal at any moment in time. That's the problem that we have. We are having players who are not sellable, where there is no demand. When there is no demand for a particular product, then obviously selling that product would be very difficult, and that's the problem that we have at this point in time to sell Aspilicueta and Alonso. Kounde go where? Kounde might be ending up at Barcelona, given the way that it is going right now. And I'm hearing reports from Simon Phillips and other journalists as well, saying that Kounde, we might even pull out of the deal. That is, whatever bid that we've submitted, we might make it null and void. Null and void is nothing but you sign a deal, or you propose a deal, and after some time decide to pull out. So you basically null and void that deal. You consider that deal to be zero. That deal is not anymore valid. There are two options. There are two ways of doing a null and void deal. Before putting in a deal, and if they are not accepting the deal, you still can do a null and void from your end. That is one side of it. And the second one is like when there is a contract that is being signed between two parties, and then the contract is being going on for quite some time now. That during that phase itself, if any or one of the party is not completely fine with how things are going, or how things are progressing, at that point in time itself, there is a clause in their deal. If there is a clause in that deal, in their deal, they could just go ahead and say, we want to consider this particular deal to be null and void. Whatever money that we were supposed to pay for you during this period of time, and let's say if it is for 60 days, for the 60 days alone we'll pay it. But over a period of 5 years, if there is a deal and 60 days is what has been completed, then for 60 days is what we will pay, and the rest of it we should be considering as null and void. That's the null and void deal. So it well could be Chelsea could be triggering a null and void situation here. Daniel says, thing is, we don't even have the situation with Kounde yet. As far as I'm aware, the offer is still on the table, and Barca have offered less. Yeah, right now it seems so. The offer is still on the table, but I wouldn't be surprised if the offer was taken out. Yeah, if we decide, you know what, We don't want that offer anymore. We're just pulling out of that particular saga itself. I wouldn't be surprised if we do that, because that much Sevilla board has tortured us in the last 1.5 years, moving the goalpost when it comes to the first window, and in the second window, of course, we've had issues with Sevilla giving the green light, delaying in terms of giving the green light. Daniel says Tuchel has already said he will keep Azpilicueta at the club because of Barcelona. Yeah, but is it really his decision to make? And even if we keep Azpilicueta, whose loss is it actually? Yeah, to be honest with you, if we keep Azpilicueta in the club for this year, isn't it more of our loss than Barcelona's loss? I'm struggling it hard to um, put that loss on them. Yeah. Varna says big up, bro. Big up Varna as well. Me personally, I would prefer us getting an RWB, I mean, a right wing back like Dumfries or Pavard. James at right center back. James is way better than Kounde, anyways. Obviously, there is, I don't have any problem with that particular statement. Reece James is far better than Kounde, anyways, in any position he plays. But then Dumfries and Pavard, these guys are someone who you would consider secondary targets as well, right? They wouldn't be your primary targets. You wouldn't want, had you had someone like Jules Kounde, you wouldn't have gone for these guys. So we are, in essence, looking for alternatives at this point in time without proper research, which has historically been Chelsea's way of dealing with things. You go for your first target, you don't have necessarily a proper backup target being researched properly. Since you don't have a proper backup target researched properly, at that point in time, whoever you think is a viable backup, or you just go ask your manager or your coaching staff, or maybe look at even fans and YouTubers doing videos of or videos and compilations of these guys playing at top leagues. You decide, okay, fine, this person, since he's also playing in that right wing back situation, what if we just go ahead and pick him? Yeah, we do not analyze certain things that we need to be analyzing, right from their physical ability, if they can contribute continuously towards the success of the club, how longevity, I mean, what is the longevity of the player? Has historically been any problem with this player in the media? Also, is there any problem of the game with this player, and the society? These things we do not evaluate, but because at that point in time, all that matters is that we need to get a backup for our coach. And that's the problem, why we have players like Danny Drinkwater and someone like Bakayoko and Baba Rahman in the squad. Not to say they're all bad players, but they're definitely not Chelsea material. Yeah, they're not Chelsea material. That's something that you should have realized while going for those signings. You did not. You just wanted the manager to be appeased with whatever signings that you're bringing in. You just brought in random signings, which any of the managers who came after Antonio Conte per se was not able to use anyways. Yeah, that's been historically a problem. We do not do proper research to have our backups ready. So you just randomly get into the market and throw in the cash, and then make sure that we bring in that player without even knowing if he will be suitable for not just this manager, but for a wider period of time. Because it's not a 1 year contract that you're signing with the player. You're signing with the player someone like a 5 year contract or a 6 year contract. So it would be strange. Daniel is asking me a question, I believe. You have to remember, in regards to players, Boli has told Tommy it's his choice. Yeah, it is his choice. But the bigger question here, Daniel, is that Thomas Tuchel has come out in the media and he's openly admitted that he is doing certain things that he wouldn't have been doing had it been another club. But the situation is different, the scenario is different. There is a lot of additional responsibility for him, and he is doing certain things for the first time in his life. For me, that is a person who's coming out in the media and subtly telling the wider audience and the fan base that, you know what, there are a lot of additional things that I'm supposed to be doing here, which is impacting what I exactly should be doing on the pitch. Yeah, I think that is the first cry from the manager to the fans and to the leadership. I need a director of football to function. Otherwise, there was no reason for Thomas Tuchel to bring that up in the media. He's not someone who is very vocal in the media. We've seen him defend plenty of players plenty of times, in spite of all their bad performances in the in the game. But why is he not doing that? And why has he decided to come out in the media and say that I'm doing certain things for the first time? Because he wants to defend himself at that point in time. Also, at the same time, just making sure that he's putting enough pressure to the leadership of Chelsea, saying that, you know what, just get me a director of football at the earliest. These kind of work that I'm doing right now seems very alien to me, and I'm finding it very difficult to cope up with. I think Thomas Tuchel has made that clear in an interview already. So I think it's more of Todd Bowley to work it around and make sure that he brings in a director of football, because I, for one, do not think or is not really confident on Thomas Tuchel's recruitment. I'm confident on his coaching capability, his ability to train the players and get them to a level where they perform on the pitch, and him being a coach. Yeah. To be more precise, him being a coach, I'm fine with it. Is he a good DOF or is he a good manager? I'm yet not sure. And a club like Chelsea is not where you start testing it out. Varna is asking me personally, I prefer James at right centre back. Oh, I think we've read this. Sorry about that. Yeah, it just makes no logical sense for Sevilla to accept Barcelona's offer because the sell on clause. Exactly. There is a sell on clause of close to 20 million. First of all, the 20 million sell on clause itself is a bit weird to me, because usually sell on clauses are in the range of 5 to 7% max to max. Yeah. But then 20 million is what they have in terms of the sell on clause with Bordeaux, which makes me question that 20 million itself, if it is true or not. Even if that 20 million is true, all it also signifies is that when you have to pay 20 million to Bordeaux and you're not getting even 20 million for yourself in the Barcelona deal, why would you even prefer the Barcelona deal? Unless, and of course, there is something happening behind in the background. I'm not saying something like um, you know um, something which is shady or stuff. I'm not saying that there could be shady stuff, but maybe there are other deals that are happening behind the scenes that we might not be aware of. When I say other deals, maybe another player coming this way. Yeah, maybe officially not confirmed, but later in the transfer window, or maybe in the winter transfer window, these both teams agree on a verbal agreement saying that, you know what, I'll give you this player during the winter transfer window for a much lesser fee. Maybe this is the fee that we will agree on, but let it be a verbal agreement, and let's not have a contract on it. Yeah, maybe like this. Otherwise, I don't see this particular deal materializing. Considering Sevilla being a European club as well, I find it very difficult um, to make this make sense. Dumfries would be fire. Varna, I'm very honest with you upfront, and I'm going to say I've never seen this player play before. All I've heard about him is his transfer value, and what position he plays. But I've never seen this person play. So unless I do some research and get something, some news on the player, I'm not in a position to comment on if he will be the right signing for it. But I hear you when you say Dumfries would be fired. If you had seen him play, then fair play. If you're saying that, I respect your opinion. But also tell me, what about the Gvardiol situation? Kimpembe as well. We've got Kimpembe, Gvardiol, Dumfries. Most of them on the 60 to 70 million range. But is it worth for us to do that? Kimpembe is said to be in the range of 70 to 80 million, according to Simon Phillips, who's saying that PSG is valuing him at 70 to 80 million. Not sure how far that is true. But maybe Gvardiol could be around the 50 region mark. Dumfries as well seems to be in that 55 bracket. Do you think spending so much of money for non-prem proven targets here is worth it? The reason why I call this a non-prem proven targets is because, see, if you have one player who's not prem proven, yeah, you're fine with it. I mean, I'm fine with it, or Chelsea fan base will be fine with it. But you already have Koulibaly, who's not played in the Premier League before. who's part of that back line. Thiago Silva just now has started playing in the Premier League, and thankfully, he started playing a lot better than what we anticipated or what he could have become. Now you have another player like this. Don't you think we don't have enough of Premier League experience in the back three to handle top teams? I, for one, would be worried a bit. Yeah, I understand the wing backs are a good support. James Chilwell, both of them, English talents know the Premier League like the bottom of their I mean, like the back of their hand. But the back three very integral in terms of setting up a defense. All three not very much prem proven. Would that be a cause of concern? Pradeep says Gvardiol fits the TT system better than Kimpembe. I'd be interested to learn more about how Gvardiol fits the TT system. Is he more of a ball playing center back, and more of a back three guy than a back four guy? Is that why you say he would, fit the TT system better than Kimpembe? Or maybe you're bringing in the Kimpembe cost as well and considering that also a factor. Let me know on the comment section. Varna says, bro, at this moment, 60 million would be a bargain unless you're willing to use Sar and Chalaba as starters. That's true. That's true. I mean, the way that we are right now, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I hear you. That could be a problem for us. Anyways, I have some more tweets that I wanted to present to you guys and let you know let your opinion be heard as well. Let me know if you guys are able to see my screen right now. And these are the topics that I have. This is Simon Phillips. He says Cesar Azpilicueta is still waiting to join Barcelona and hopes to close his arrival at the Camp Nou regardless of Kounde. The two clubs are in conversation. Now, another question. Azpilicueta probably might not join Barcelona, not just because they've not reached an agreement, but also they cannot sign or register a player, which could also be a concern when it comes to the Kounde situation. Now, my question to you guys is that why there has been a lot of pressure from Barcelona's end to terminate De Jong's contract at the earliest? We've seen Xavi already talking to him. We've seen already a lot of board members from Barcelona having conversations with De Jong. Maybe, just maybe, there is no space for them to register Kounde, and so they have to offload De Jong from their books, and that becomes a priority. Until that one gets completed, this one might not progress. Is that why there is a delay? Because I don't understand why there would be a delay in submitting the bid. When you're submitting the bid, you're not expected to immediately pay the money, right? You're basically submitting the bid so that there is a proposal on the table for Sevilla to evaluate and compare it with the other bidders. That's exactly what you do in terms of a bidding. So why would you want to delay your bid unless and of course you think if your bid is successful, you still will not be able to sign the player because there is an issue with your player registration and you need to first offload your players to ensure that the new players coming in can be signed and registered to your team. Let me know your thoughts as well on this topic. But I think Barcelona are right now finding solutions to problems, and the way that they are finding problems, according to me at least, is just going to lead them into further problematic scenario, which would be difficult for them to come back from. But who knows? I'm not the one who's managing Barcelona's book. Another one. This is also a topic for the day, because this seems to be highly highly likely we get this over the line very quick. 2 weeks, in the next 2 weeks, I think this would be one thing in terms of our outgoings. Hakim Ziyech, Simon Phillips says, didn't get on the Chelsea team bus when their plane landed back in the UK earlier this week. So basically, once we landed, Hakim Ziyech did not get on the team bus. Moved to AC Milan, gathering pace once again. All right, fresh talks taken place this week. Two clubs are growing more optimistic. All right, so there might be one deal that, in terms of outgoings, could happen. I think there is a center back attraction as well for us. So maybe, you know, a player swap could happen, but realistically, I've told you before as well, um, player swap deals is something that is more of a dream always, because in FIFA, I'm talking about the game FIFA, it well could be something that happens, because it's just the money that is taken into consideration. But when it comes to the reality of the situation, it's not always the same. I don't think so a swap deal is as simple as it is, and it can happen the way that we are looking at it to happen, because player swap deal is a lot more complicated, given that we don't pay the players, or pay for the players to a club in a single installment. There are multiple installments and amortized value that we have to pay them, which also makes it a lot more complicated, because these amortized value, you could still argue, you know what, the amortization could also be simple, right? If I decide to play Lukaku 20 million every year, and then if I take another player, let's say Lautaro Martinez from you, and that is also 100 million or even 80 million, yeah, instead of paying me um, 20 million a week, 20 million a year, you'll be paying me 17 million a year, right? What is the problem in that? You could still argue with that term, but how it goes into the books of both these clubs is where the problem would come, because there is a particular way that you should be reporting in the books, and it need not necessarily be the way that we people outside here, as fans think it is, because it's a lot more complicated in terms of them managing and auditing that book. And I believe, if the clubs are doing player swap deals, it is something that they do only as a last option, because usually player swap deals are not looked at as the first options when it comes to transfer market deals. The Added Time podcast. I'm seeing you for the first time here. If you're new to the channel, please press that like and subscribe button if you like the content that you're seeing here. It's a good community. It's a growing community as well. We've newly opened a Discord server as well. I'll soon post that Discord link in my Twitter page. You guys can join there, and you might be knowing about the latest updates in terms of the Chelsea community from there. So it's a good place to be in, and it's started off well and it's going good. Added Time podcast. Let's first of all read what he said, saying that if we send Ziyech to AC Milan, do you think it'll be part of the Leo swap deal? With money included. Like I was just mentioning about it, player swap deal might not be as easy as we would anticipate it to be. But if at all there is a possibility, I see it could happen. But tell me one thing: why would Rafael Leo would want to come to Chelsea at this given point in time, given that AC Milan as well has qualified for the Champions League? Yeah, you might argue Chelsea is a place of interest. London is a place of interest for a lot of top talents. But not everyone would want to play in the UK. Maybe a few people are comfortable playing in the Italy, in the Milano. Milano is a good place again to be with. Yeah. So it's not something that Leo would also prefer at this point in time, given that there is a new ownership and it's not shown success in terms of the transfer market right now, which will raise questions for a lot of people to get it negotiated and started with. Like I already told you guys, I'm going to repeat this once again, because I've been hearing, or I've been asked by a lot of people in Twitter and social media, when I explained this scenario about the wage structure, where it could possibly be a deteriorating factor for Chelsea in the near future, for the next couple of years at least. So I'll try and explain that once more for anyone who have missed out on this. This is more on my speculation on why there are a lot of deals that Chelsea are missing out on. Okay, my speculation is that usually a wage component involves a basic structure, which is your basic pay and your add-ons and incentives. Yeah. Recently, Todd Bowley wanted to reinvent this particular wage model, and he decided to go for incentivized wage model. According to incentivized wage model, the basic that is given for a particular player will be reduced and the incentives will be added more, which then puts pressure on the players to perform a lot more to earn those incentives, because they cannot anymore be happy with what they get through the basic, which was what they were used to getting at Chelsea in the Roman era. Not to say that Roman era's dealings were completely wrong, the way structure was wrong. I think at that point in time, Roman trying to do that was very important, because if you looked at back 2003, 2004, top players would not even consider coming to Chelsea, because Manchester United, Arsenal's, and Liverpool's were the top dogs that during that phase. So you had to do something different to attract new talents to your squad and ensure that Chelsea is being looked at as a top club. The way that you were able to do, the way that Roman saw that it can be done, was by introducing a different wage structure where the basic pay was higher, which attracted a lot of top talents to come in. Regardless of their performance in that particular year, they were getting a lot more in terms of their finances, because the basic was higher. Incentives were obviously there, but incentives were also something that were given huge in money. And also in properties, when I say properties, maybe cars and all that. Yeah. But with Todd Bowley, that is being revitalized. It's a good sign for Chelsea, for things to come, because these are things that needs to be sorted out at the ground level. And I'm happy that Todd Bowley was able to identify this as soon as he came into the club. In the first 3 or 4 months, he decided, you know what, I'm going to change this wage structure and make sure that it's being appropriately managed and maintained. In that way, I'm happy that he did that. But the downside to it is that Chelsea is not anymore an attractive place to be in for the players with pure financial motives. Yeah, now you're competing with top talents across the Europe with your normal financial model, which is in comparison with that of any Premier League clubs, in the league. So it means that Chelsea are not providing anything above and beyond to attract you into the club, except for your manager's capability, maybe the players who are playing in Chelsea. Those are the factors that might attract players to play for Chelsea, not anymore the huge amount of money that you were getting once in terms of the basic pay only. So I think these are factors that might contribute to us losing certain battles, key battles in the transfer market this particular year, and not just this year, maybe for the next couple of years as well, until the players come to a reality understanding where, you know what, it's the new Chelsea and this is how they're going to be operating with. No problem with the contracts that are already in place, but most of the contracts are ending at 2023 when they are being, re-signed, or when they're being discussed once again. Obviously, you can see a lot of people, a lot of players not happy with the new contract, and you might see a lot of outgoings in 2023 season as well. Um, if I'm getting my financial information from Chelsea right, I think there will be a lot of 2023 outgoings as well, because the way that I see it, the wage structure will change for the new contracts, which means that the new contracts that right now we are giving, like let's say for example Raheem Sterling and Koulibaly, would have been according to the new way that Todd Bowley wanted to operate. Not just that, 2023 contract renewals will also be based on the new system, the new Todd Bowley wage structure system, which might not be agreed by a lot of top Chelsea players, which might, see a lot of top players leave, which might, happen. And, Chelsea fans might have to take that with a pinch of salt. But that is just for 2 to 3 years, guys. After which, I think the players will come to a reality and understanding that this is how a new Chelsea is going to be operating. Enough about the wage structure, because it's usually a boring topic for people to listen to. So I keep it very as much as small and short as possible. But let's walk through the chat as well. Honestly, I think the media are just recycling news regarding Chelsea because there is no news really. Varna, you're 100% right. I was talking about this, before I think you came in as well. if you do not have information, please do not publish any information. Yeah, your job is to relay information. Your job is not to create information. Your job is not to opinionate on the information that is being provided to you and give that as the source. Yeah, because it will either be a position where your credibility is questioned, or a lot of people might not be interested in your opinion, but will be interested in the information that you pass along from your contacts. Yeah. So ensure that your reporting is standard and quality, and be credible. And please don't recycle information for the sake of recycling it, because even the Hakim Ziyech topic right now, you could still call that a recycled information, because we've seen this happening before itself. So I I'm not sure if this is new information even, honestly. Yeah, this is again Fabrizio Romano through his podcast, where he says Chelsea will try and bring some quality in the defense in the next few days. PSG wants 55 to 60 million for Kimpembe. This is in pounds, guys. It's not in euro. For Kimpembe, there is no direct contact between Chelsea and Inter for Dumfries. So we are calling for Dumfries deal to be sorted, but apparently there has not been direct contact between Chelsea and Inter for the signing of Dumfries. So I wouldn't be surprised if we are not able to get this over the line, because honestly, if you look at it, these deals does take time, and with the new owner and the new club structure in place, it's obviously going to take a lot more time. And the way that you can evade competition is not something that you've done before, which means that it's going to take some time for you as well, to win certain key battles in the transfer market. And which also means you have to start a lot more earlier, which you guys have not done yet. Yeah, that's kind of a disappointment for me. But hopefully we correct it in the next window. But all that it will say is that the next 6 months is going to be a rough ride. Will Thomas Tuchel be happy with that? Is something that we will be discussing next. Now, guys, talk to me about this. Thomas Tuchel comes out to the press and he says, I need 4 more new players to get this team up and running. Yeah, at least 4 more. Maybe not directly open, but then he's hinting at that. Do you think Todd Bowley is in a situation right now to pull off 4 key deals that Thomas Tuchel wants? I highly doubt it. Is that going to cause a rift between the manager and Thomas Tuchel? Sorry, manager and Todd Bowley? Well, probably. Is that probably what will be the end of Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea Football Club? Well, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And right now, if I'm being honest with you guys, I think that's the direction it is taking, guys. This is my pessimistic view on that. I can still be optimistic and say, you know what, Thomas Tuchel is probably going to get 3 out of the 4, and then we're still going to challenge for these competitions, and Chelsea is going to finish top 4, and and Thomas Tuchel is probably going to win another cup tournament or something, and still going to retain his job. That's my optimistic view at that. But the pessimistic view is something that seems more of a reality right now, given the way that the situations are progressing for Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea Football Club. Until something very drastic happens in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I don't really see this progressing anywhere successfully, and that's my honest opinion on how Chelsea is moving on in this particular transfer window. Another journalist who I rely on information with when it comes to German deals is definitely Christian Falk. He says the transfer of Presnel Kimpembe still has the priority at the search for a center back for Thomas Tuchel. Negotiations between Chelsea and Paris are ongoing. So yeah, a German journalist confirming this, that the deal is, is still in negotiation phase. I don't know who this person is. Thilo Kehrer, I believe he's another PSG player playing in the ranks of PSG, who was offered to Chelsea. I think Chelsea was not interested in that. But these were a couple of tweets from him. And Nisar Kinsella as well tweeted out saying that Chelsea's focus remains massively on incoming targets, with Denzel Dumfries the most viable target after Kounde. The lack of incoming signings has left Chelsea's potential outgoing young defenders in limbo. Yeah, what can I say? That is the truth right now, and that's probably where Chelsea is heading, and you know maybe we pull off this Denzel Dumfries and get things sorted. Milan Skriniar is valued at 59 million. Is another defender interested? Sorry, defender interest for the Blues. Maybe there is a bit of interest. Skriniar has been someone who we've been talking for quite some time now as a backup if Thomas Tuchel deal is not going. Sorry, Thomas Tuchel's deal for Jules Kounde is not going anywhere. So I don't know how much of a reality that could be. Another news, this is from City Extra, not something this is Chelsea oriented, but then I just wanted to read it out just to show you guys how things are happening properly at the other end of Manchester. Man City have already raised 232 million euros through player sales in 2022, sitting on a net transfer profit of 122 million euros pounds this particular season alone. They will probably, if they are not even making any deals from now on, they'll probably end this transfer window with a 122 million pounds profit, which is not something that is to be taken lightly. You could still argue Pep has spent so many money. He spent close to 1 billion to get a lot of deals done and all that, but still, they're ending it on a positive note of 122 million pounds, which is probably the best way to do business. Yeah, I agree to the fact that they have had some issues in the past in terms of the uh, Premier League regulations not being followed and all that, but somehow they're able to evade all of that. And right now, they have a net profit of 122 million pounds that they'll be finishing this summer transfer window on if they do not make any more signings. Guys, we've got 16 people watching the stream right now. Please press that like button if you're liking what you're hearing. Of course, this is not something that you'd want to hear the City Extra, but just wanted to, let you guys know this is also something that is happening amongst our rivals. But yeah, please press that like button. Hopefully, you're liking what you're hearing. I'll try and be more regular with respect to Chelsea content, which is something that has become a lot more monotonous and boring right now because Chelsea is not that active in the transfer market anymore or right now. It's just the information that is being recycled, which is something that you guys would also be tired of hearing every single day. Also, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about this thing. This is on our rivals Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur. How well do you think they are ready for the season? Today, you wouldn't believe what I saw in the Twitter space. I'm pretty sure you guys also, if you guys were active on Twitter, would have seen the same thing. I had spaces. Give me a second, guys. I'm sorting my audio out. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah. So what I wanted to say was on the Twitter. In my Twitter handle, I had one of the spaces that were running with the topic: Arsenal, are they title challengers this particular year? I know fans can sometimes be going overboard with certain information, but Arsenal fans, I believe, are probably the examples when it comes to doing that. They won against Chelsea 4-0, and they've already thought that they're going to be title challengers for this year. Tell me on the comment section how far the Arsenal fans are going overboard, and what are your thoughts basically on these kind of spaces where people are hoping that they're going to be winning against a Manchester City, formidable Manchester City team at this point in time, and Liverpool, who are on the front too. Yeah, yeah, fine. You won against Chelsea, but Chelsea did not have their first 11, and even I'm not trying to defend Chelsea here. Even then, if it was a Premier League, I think the intent of the players would be a lot more different from Chelsea, which would have made it even more difficult for them to win against. So even if you took a win against Chelsea, what is to say that you're going to be challenging for the title? I've got no clue about it. And Tottenham Hotspur, I think they definitely are a formidable side who's going to be challenging for the title this particular, not title, maybe the top four this particular season. Made a lot of signings. I think they've just completed their sixth signing from Middlesbrough. Again, a defender, I believe. So they are on, a way to making their side a very strong one. But there have been also links to Harry Kane for Chelsea. Is there any substance to it? I'm not sure, because right now Chelsea could be just used as another player in Bayern to get Chelsea, because Bayern definitely were interested in Harry Kane, and they've registered that interest as well. So if at all Harry Kane is being approached by Bayern Munich, then we could just be used as a decoy to extract more money from the Tottenham side, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So I don't find any truth through that information that Chelsea are interested in signing Harry Kane. But it is what it is, isn't it? James Bravo, another new member. Thanks for coming in and tuning into the channel. We do streams regularly at 3:45 p.m. UK time. You can tune in daily to these streams, and it will be all Chelsea content. Thanks for joining in once again. And our former owner is the best, says James Bravo. Yeah, I'm not even gonna speculate that. Definitely Roman era. That's why it's called the Roman era, right? He made Chelsea into a formidable team that we are right now, and I respect him for all that he's done for the club. Like by this time, we should sign more players for us. Exactly, we should have had a lot more players for us, except that we just have two signings. Obviously, those two signings are formidable signings. Raheem Sterling one, and the other one is Kalidou Koulibaly. But what is to say that we're going to be challenging for the top four with these two signings? I don't think so. These two signings improve us any more than what we already had. Nothing to take away from Raheem Sterling or Kalidou Koulibaly. It's just a replacement for Antonio Rudiger. And, one on the attacking side, we've just added one more person. What is to say that Raheem Sterling wouldn't be another flop? Yeah. So you never know, but you should be in a position to offload a lot of players at this point in time. I'm not seeing that much of offload that is happening from Chelsea's side. Yeah, we're hearing players that are leaving more on the academy front. Sometime Xavier Muyamba is one of those persons who's on his way out of Chelsea. There's obviously concrete interest that is being registered, so he is definitely on his way out. But apart from that, I'm not seeing anything. And I think Muyamba is on his way out to Netherlands, guys. So yeah, we do not have that sort of outgoings as well, because it's again all about balancing books, guys. We do not have outgoings. How can we expect a lot of incomings? Chelsea right now are struggling a lot harder to sell players, because most of our outgoing players, or most of the players who are in our books, are also on high wages. Would you believe if I said Ross Barkley is earning 5 million a year just through his wages alone? It's not a weekly wage for Ross Barkley, it's an yearly contract, but he's still earning 5 million euro every single year. How will you move him even if you decided to? Yeah, I know a lot of times people ask questions around why is Ross Barkley kept in the squad? Why is he playing this game, that game, and all that? I mean, he's playing this game and that game because Chelsea doesn't even know how they can, justify that 5 million that they're paying for him. He plays for 3 games or 4 games an entire season sometimes, and he still manages to take 5 million from us. And it's just sad at this point in time, guys. It's just sad. We're finding it difficult. Kasule Deko from Uganda, joining us from Uganda, Africa. Thank you so much for tuning in from Uganda. I always love talking about football globally to a global set of fans, because the perspective is completely different in every country, in every continent that we speak about, because they bring in their own Chelsea news. When it comes to the background of Chelsea in their particular country, how it has grown and all of that. So I'm always excited to talk about Chelsea, globally with my global fans. Thank you so much for tuning in as well, Kasule from Uganda. Steven Super says that Chelsea dream about Kounde. Yeah, Chelsea right now, it seems to be obviously a dream, that we are interested in Jules Kounde. But tell me one thing on the comment section, guys. Did Romero, yeah, Gerard Romero got things right, making the English journalist look like a clown? Did that happen? Yeah, we could still. I mean, the English journalists right now are trying to justify it, saying that yeah, Barcelona swooped in towards the end, that they tried to hijack the deal and all that. But don't you guys think? I think the English journalists have dropped the ball in this, and probably, just probably, Romero had been doing his job a lot better than the English journalists that we hear from. It is what it is, and this is how things seem to be at this point in time. And I was, yeah, this is from Pradeep. He's asking De Jong to Chelsea thoughts. Another decoy, probably. I was talking about this triangle where if at all Chelsea are not ready to sign Aspilicueta or sell Aspilicueta and um, Alonso to Barcelona, they're obviously not going to be agreeing to the De Jong deal, right? Provided De Jong decides to terminate his contract and then sign for us, that might be a possibility. But would he want to do it at this point in time? I don't see him trying to do it, because he seems to be taking this to the court and then fighting over it. Because I think earlier he was he was informed that he will be provided a 3 million compensation, but in 2 days span of time, they have decided to provide him 7 million in compensation for him to terminate his contract. But apparently he is not satisfied even with that money as well. I think he is expecting it in the ranges of 17 million from Barcelona, which is pending to him. I think without getting that money from Barcelona, Frankie De Jong is going to be moving nowhere. So if he's not going to be moving nowhere, I don't see why. I don't think so. He's going to be a Chelsea player anytime sooner. Yeah, there definitely is strong interest registered from Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, as well as Manchester United, who are tracking his progress very slowly. The reason why De Jong's situation has attracted or has gained so much traction is because Manchester United, one of the Premier League teams, have been tracking De Jong very closely. So we are getting to know about things that are happening in the background for Barcelona as well, where they're finding it very, very difficult to register their players, also sell their players at times, and also to pay their wages. That's been the question for everyone. If you cannot pay your own existing players, why would you want to sign new players? And how are these players ready to go to Barcelona, in spite of them knowing there are a lot of people, a lot of players in their squad? It's not just the first time for Barcelona, failing to pay De Jong. They've done that for Gerard Piqué as well. So why does these players prefer to go to Barcelona if there is a problem of you not getting the wages that were promised to you at any point in your contract? I don't understand. It's just beyond me. Beyond me. Um, Crispin Chambo says, hello, Chris from Kilifi. Kounde's deal is taking years. Why? Um, yeah, it's definitely taking years. First of all, Chris, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm seeing you for the first time as well. Please like the like this particular video if you're hearing what you like. I mean, if you're liking what you're hearing. Also press that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. We do provide quality content every single day. We are in the process of getting guests also to the channel, so that's going to be something that will be providing you a new perspective. You don't have to listen to my monologue every single day, I promise you that. But yeah, Kounde's deal is taking years. Why? To answer your question, This is how it started, right? A year back, we obviously registered interest on Jules Kounde. But one thing that we have to note is that we registered interest on Jules Kounde, but it was more of a board's interest. You could argue that it was Peter Cech and Marina's interest, and maybe the scouting team's interest on Jules Kounde. Thomas Tuchel was not a huge fan of Jules Kounde, anyways. Maybe you could argue that it was because of his height, but a counter to that argument could be that why not Azpilicueta and Thiago Silva, if they can do the job, why not Kounde cannot do it? Yeah, but for some reasons, Thomas Tuchel was anyway not very interested in getting Jules Kounde to the club. So it was in a situation where Chelsea wanted to put in a bid for them, but did not want to go all out because the manager anyways was not so keen on this signing. We tried to sign a couple of times. Sevilla as well moved the goalpost, which was in fact a problem, because in terms of negotiations, yeah, you should be moving your goalpost at times, but then once something is agreed, you're not then supposed to move your goalpost, which is something that Sevilla was doing a couple of times, which kind of pissed off the Chelsea leadership and the Chelsea negotiations team at that point in time. But then the ownership changed. But we as fans were informed that even the new incoming owners are still interested in Jules Kounde, which gave us a little bit confidence. Maybe we'll get this deal over the line. Yeah, but then the sacking of Marina and Peter Cech happened. Once the sacking of Marina happened, what happened is that's when we got to know, all right, fine, maybe it was all Marina who wanted Jules Kounde and not Thomas Tuchel. So we started focusing our interest more on Nathan Ake, who who Thomas Tuchel seemed to be more interested in. And then at some point, Thomas Tuchel and the Chelsea board understood that the Nathan Ake deal was going nowhere and decided to digress back to the Jules Kounde deal. And at that point in time, Thomas Tuchel was like already tired with the Nathan Ake deal. He was like, okay, fine. If you want to get Jules Kounde and give him to me to play, yeah, okay, fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine with having him in the squad. And then we went on to, bid for Jules Kounde, which I'm pretty sure we did the right thing, getting the personal terms agreed, which we did that earlier in the last season as well. And believe it when I say Jules Kounde was definitely interested in coming to London to play for Chelsea last season. This season, again, like I told you, I'm going to go back on that point. Chelsea's wage structure has changed, which means this time whatever Jules Kounde is being offered in terms of personal terms might not be exactly the same as that of what we offered the previous year. That's a different era, different ownership, different type of wage structure. But the new wage structure is not something maybe Jules Kounde is comfortable really with. So he was like, okay, fine, I'm not really going to be keen on this. There is a change in ownership and things are happening a different way in Chelsea. Yeah, I've got the contract. I've read through it. I'm agreeing to your personal terms. But if there is another contract that is coming my way, maybe I will also evaluate that. Earlier, maybe Jules Kounde wouldn't have even done that, because at that point in time, the contract that was provided to him in terms of the wage structure was a lot more appealing. But this particular contract might not have been that appealing because of the change in the wage structure, which could in turn made Jules Kounde to second guess if he really wants to go to Chelsea under this particular contract or not. And that's when Barcelona came and they decided to swoop in. And you know what happens when Barcelona tries to swoop in for a deal, and they're trying to hijack the deal, which well could be a possibility now. Kounde to FCB is done. What is it? Let me just check that, guys. Jules Kounde have contacts already with Chelsea with them about a loan move, serious possibility now. When you say done, are you saying that is because someone reported it? Did you hear it from any tier 1 journalist? If so, please let me know. Yeah, the Sun Football has basically reported saying that Chelsea makes sensational Harry Kane transfer approach. I, for one, is not a very big fan of Sun Football. They've got a lot of things wrong before. If it is reported by any other top tier journalist, we definitely can have this conversation about Harry Kane, because he is an exciting player to watch out for. But what sense does it make for Harry Kane to come out of Tottenham Hotspur right now in this particular year? Had it been the previous year, of course, I would have understood why Harry Kane wanted to move from Tottenham Hotspur. But why would he want to move out of Tottenham Hotspur, given that they signed 6 top quality signings, and then Antonio Conte is there, which means that you're probably getting assured of a trophy for the first time in your life. Get that trophy, man. Get that trophy, and get your trophy for yourself. You've been there for a long time. You've been an academy player for Tottenham. It would be nice to see you get a trophy at Tottenham. The problem isn't the wage structure. It's because you don't have FCB on the shirt. Right now, tell me if FCB has a sponsor on the shirt. That in itself is a problem for you guys. So again, I'm not sure if you were right now part of the earlier conversation as well. I was explaining the wage structure issue that right now Chelsea has. I'm not going to do that once again, because for people who are tuning in from the starting, they've been hearing this probably for the 4th time in the last couple of days. So I'm not going to be doing that. But if you go back and watch the stream, you can figure out why I'm actually trying to say that, and how much sense that would make. Crispin says, thanks, well explained. Now I understand. Absolutely. It's a pleasure always. More money, gets to play with his England pals, Sterling and Mason Mount. You know what? Harry Kane, more money. Is Chelsea in a position to give more money right now? Yeah, you could argue we definitely can. But Sterling and Mason Mount, would he be so keen on doing that? I'm not really sure. Come on. Every single every single team has that. Yeah, they have their English pals and all that in every team, top teams. But yeah, I'm not against the fact that Harry Kane should not be joining Chelsea, but I wouldn't go too much reading into the Sun Football's article, because they've got it plenty of times wrong. So if it is being reported by another couple of journalists, then we'll definitely have a conversation on that, because it's a huge conversation to have. Harry Kane is not a normal player. He's an icon in terms of English football. He's done so much for English football, and he definitely has been a phenomenon when it comes to English football. So we definitely have to have that conversation if it is reported by a couple more journalists. But until that, I'm not really sure if there is substance to it. Weren't any problems signing Sterling, though, were there. That is another scenario where Sterling actually wanted to come to a London club because he wanted to stay in London to take care of his mom. It was reported earlier as well. He wanted to take care of his mom. He wanted to come back to London, and Arsenal realistically was not an option because they were not providing Champions League football. Tottenham was another option who could probably provide Champions League football, but they were not interested in signing someone like Raheem Sterling. They already have Heung-min Son. So naturally, the choice was Chelsea or West Ham. Chelsea was willing to throw in the towel, throw in the money for Raheem Sterling, so he decided to join in. So I think Raheem Sterling, that's probably the way that he was brought into the team. There was more personal reasons to the signing as well. And our wage structure is not so bad that no player would want to sign us. Don't get me wrong. Our wage structure has become normal as that of any other Premier League club, and that is the reason why top talents might think twice, which they were not trying to earlier because of the earlier wage structure. They might think twice right now because it's as equivalent to any Premier League club's offer in making their decision. So we might have to attract them with a lot more other stuffs. Yeah, when I say other stuffs, not illegal stuff, guys. I'm saying about other add-ons and bonuses and incentives and all that. Otherwise, we might lose certain key battles. Welcome to FCB. You are so quick, buddy. Zira Multimedia, you are so quick. I'm not seeing anyone reporting until now about Jules Kounde's deal being official. So I'm gonna hold until that to comment on Jules Kounde's deal. Fabrizio has actually tweeted something. Is that on Jules Kounde? Is that on Jules Kounde? No, it's on Solomon, Manor Solomon, who's joining Fulham United. Anyways, not a problem. Levy is tight. I mean, Levy has started to spend some cash, guys. Not he's not usually that person who is so good in terms of spending cash, but right now he seems to be spending some cash. He seems to be going all out for Antonio Conte, because he knew or he knows that if they're not able to win a trophy with Antonio Conte in their team, they probably are never going to win a trophy. Yeah, they probably are never going to win a trophy. And a lot of people actually do not know this. I'm talking about youngsters, of course. They actually think Spurs have never won even a single trophy. That's not true. Spurs have won trophies back in 1963, European trophies as well. They won European trophies. In the recent past, at least in the 21st century, they've not managed to win anything. That's the reason why we call Tottenham a Spurs, a trophy-less team, a Spurs-less or Spursy team and all that. But they've won lots of trophies, domestic trophies, 8 times and 7 times and all that. So it's not that Spurs have never won the trophy. I couldn't think of a better reason. Yeah, people, we are struggling to know the reason at this point in time, and Barcelona are completely dominating the transfer window at this point in time. You need Memphis. We all know how his days with Manchester United went. Again, his days with Manchester United was more with Louis van Gaal, not the best of the manager, but he was not the best of the striker at that point in time as well. So him suiting to Premier League is another question. It could also end up toppling the other way around. It could end up being a Lukaku saga as well, because we see these players going out of the Premier League and performing at the top of their game, and then when they come back to the Premier League, they might not necessarily be as effective as they were in the other leagues. Does it go to show the quality of the Premier League, or does it go to show the other aspects of the Premier League which is not prevalent in the other leagues? I'm not so sure about it, but for some reasons, deals like this can be very risky, and the players who are returning to Premier League might not be as effective as we would want them to be, or we would hope them to be. Please press that like button if you're liking what you're hearing, guys. It's just content for you guys to enjoy. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are definitely nearing 300 subscriber mark. I think we are close to 25 short for the 300 subscriber mark, but over the last 1 week we've grown in numbers. We've reached 79 subscribers in the last 3 days, which is very huge, guys, because the first 200 I almost took 100 videos to reach it. But in the last 6 to 7 videos, you guys have been very supportive. It's already reached another 79 subscribers in the last 4 days, like I told you. Another 25 is not a long way through, so just press that like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not. We'll soon reach that 300 subscriber mark, and we'll pick up the pace from that as well. Like I told you, there are guests lined up for this particular Premier League season. I'm already in contact with a lot of those guests, getting the dates confirmed. So they will be coming in as well to provide their perspective. Hopefully, we form a successful community here and have thoughtful discussions about Chelsea Football Club. Pradeep says Daniel Levy won't sell Kane to Chelsea. We are a direct rival. He would rather sell him outside Premier League. Remember Modric. Yeah, I do remember Modric. But what is to say, Sevilla, should have possibly done the same with Barcelona. Anyways, I hear what you're saying, Pradeep, and I concur with that as well. I don't think so. Levy would want to sell Harry Kane to a direct rival to us. He would probably even go sell him to Manchester City, worst case scenario. But selling him to Chelsea doesn't really sit well with a lot of Tottenham fans, and I think there'll be a huge repercussion in the Tottenham fan base as well if he decides to sell Harry Kane to Chelsea. Nick Knack says, point is the wage structure was able to satisfy Sterling's demands. But wasn't he... Sterling's demands was not that so much high as well. And he, for one, knows that his role in this team is a lot more comfortable one, because our attackers are fit for nothing anyways in this team. So right now he knows that he's going to have enough amount of opportunities and chances to be in the squad and be successful at that. But when it comes to the defenders, it's really not the case, because historically Chelsea's been so good on the defensive front, and Thomas Tuchel has been doing a splendid job in the defense area. And he, the defenders coming in will have a lot more competition than that of the attackers, because the attackers are on their way out. A lot of attackers don't even want to play for Chelsea Football Club. That's exactly what Thomas Tuchel has been also stressing on in all his interviews, when he's saying that our team members do not really want, a few of them do not really want to be in the club. I personally, for one, think that he's talking more about the defenders, sorry, about more the midfielders and the attackers, and not the defenders. Nick says that PL is a tougher league. Nobody gets the same numbers as they would in a Serie A, La Liga, and Bundesliga. I definitely would agree to that statement. But PL has its own downsides as well. We are a lot more physical team, physical league at times, and that can cause dangerous injuries for our players as well. Syria, La Liga. You wouldn't believe, I was actually watching a Bundesliga match the last season. So basically, this is what happened, right? I'll tell you a timeline. I was watching a Chelsea game. The Chelsea game got over, and I was watching it in Sony Live. So the Chelsea game got over. I decided to tune into a Bundesliga game where Borussia Dortmund were playing. Yeah, it was Borussia Dortmund against RB Leipzig. And this happened immediately after the Chelsea match. I saw the Chelsea match. It was very, very difficult match that was happening between Watford and Chelsea. It was not even a big game. Okay, so Watford and Chelsea were playing that game, and it looked a lot physical. Players were, there were a lot of possession lost. Players were finding it difficult to actually, move around in the pitch. The passes were very quick, very stable and clear, and all that. And then I finished the Chelsea game. I watched the Bundesliga game. It was almost like a one-touch football where no one even stops the ball. Like, you start from your defensive line, and then you put 4 passes amongst the defense, and then you put in a through ball from your midfield area, finds your attacker easily, and then boom, inside the box, and then there's a goal. Yeah, and then the opposite team does the same thing. That's why there is a lot of high-scoring encounter in Bundesliga. And if you look at the goals tally for these strikers, Timo Werner, we say that he's got 30 goals. Erling Haaland has got around 30 to 40 goals. Lewandowski gets loads of goals in that Bundesliga team, like 35, 40 goals. And every particular season, he makes a record in terms of goal scoring. But the way that they're able to score goals is very easier from what we look, at least. I'm not obviously going to playing in the Bundesliga to say that what Bundesliga is a lot more easier than that of Premier League. All I can say is I've seen both the leagues, and I'm feeling that there is a difference in terms of the quality, and that difference in quality is what is probably making the attackers be more successful in those leagues. And Premier League, it's more about the defenders being very physically strong, and it's so much of quality difference between the Premier League and the other leagues. Anyways, we are in the stream for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Definitely not a lot of Chelsea topics to cover, as well as generally transfer topic as well. I'm planning to get one particular guest before the end of this week to our stream, and probably we'll hear from him. Hopefully, there's an Australian guest. I'll let it be. I'll let you guys guess who that guest is going to be. It's going to be an Australian guest. And while you keep guessing it, I'll also take a leave. It's been close to 1 hour and 20 minutes, as I told you. I'll keep you posted on whatever happens with respect to Chelsea Football Club. Thank you for tuning in. You've been a wonderful chat. A lot of good questions and a lot of good, insights as well in that comment section. Would love to have this a similar conversation like this tomorrow, same time, 8:15 IST and 3:45 p.m. UK time. If you guys are tuning in from London, Ireland, Scotland, whatever European country that is, this is our timing. This is usually when we stream. So remember, 8:15 Indian Standard Time or 3:45 UK time is when we stream regularly. See you guys tomorrow. Until that, this is VJ signing off for Sportswire. You guys have a great day.